corrupt mess. Can we agree that our elections are a mess in Arizona? No, this election is about making sure that our elections in 2024 are run fairly, and there's not anybody in the country who's better at that than Gina Swoboda. That is why I endorse her.
So look, Kari Lake clearly is now tied to the new head of the party. Is probably going to receive a lot more favorable treatment by the Swoboda. But you saw there a lot of people, apparently thousands of Republican voting members of the state party, that are not a big fan of her, perhaps because she took out the former head of the Arizona GOP, who had a comment to make about what you saw in that video, saying, "I hope that the overwhelming mountain of boos Lake got from the almost 2,000 Republican voting members of the state party helps her realize the party needs and wants unity, not secret and edited recordings, which she has spent the last week fundraising off of, that only bring divisiveness and chaos to a time that our country needs to heal." I assume that means that's Jeff DeWitt. Yeah, well, look, he is right that she is an agent of chaos. She's not there for unity, she's there for herself. On the other hand, I don't know exactly how she edited the tapes. It is hard to understand what context could be added that would change what seems clear, which is that he was trying to bribe her out of the race. But Francesca, what do you think about this? I don't think we've talked about this issue.
We haven't, and I actually kind of missed this story, so I feel woefully underprepared and scared, but I am curious. I think that she wouldn't have gotten booed had they not seen her as that agent of chaos, as like not being in favor of what she's done to the party. I just think, what to me we have to focus on is how Democrats need to be messaging off of these kinds of things, to be pointing out and clearly so that Republicans only win by cheating, that they only win by putting in their favorites to be the head of the GOP, to be the ones who are like, obviously state legislatures and whatnot, to be putting their finger on the scale, to be suppressing the vote, and that's how they get into office. And they relish in the idea that young people, that people of color, that the elderly, that people who work, that people are prevented from the ballot box. They relish in that. And we need to talk about that a lot more. They don't want you to vote.
Yeah. Well, look, I think that this story is interesting in that everyone in it is bad for different reasons. Jeff DeWitt did try to bribe her out of the race, and I'm sure a lot more of that happens behind the scenes than perhaps we'll ever know. Swoboda seems like she's there just to be an active participant in the dismantling of American democracy. And Kari Lake was, an LGBTQ community loving Democrat just a few years ago. And now she's all aboard the Trump train because she sees it as a shortcut to fame and wealth. So all these people are bad. Sorry, Arizona, for what you're stuck with in this particular case. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.